People of Earth, this is Jeremy. It's raining outside. You might hear that. Happens. Even to the best of us, even in Hawaii. I thought I would do one more of these little me to you moments here on YouTube before I start getting into promoting my new novel phase. So there will be another video promoting my new novel, Into the End, which I am now promoting here, which is due out September 3rd, and I will tell you all about it in another video. But for now, let's talk about a little thing called listening. Listening. What do you think of when you think of listening? Just listening to people, right? But the type of listening I want to talk about is sort of the thing that I've been saying all along with these little chats, which is you've got to learn how to listen. Meaning there's a depth to listening. There's a number of depths to listening, actually. But what we're talking about here is the depth of listening that is required if one is to dissolve into that state which so many of us hold out as an ideal or a concept or, a philosophy, but it is not any of those things. It is the timeless moment. It is also called nothingness. It is also called enlightenment. Let's put that in quotation marks. It is the place that you probably access on occasion through epiphanies and new ideas that are not born of your own thought process. All that stuff points to this timeless moment which encapsulates us and in which exists all time. But of course, if you're a creature of time, you can't approach the timeless moment. If you are a thing, you cannot approach nothing. If you are unenlightened, you cannot be enlightened. See how these things work? We want to add them to ourselves. We want to make us them, but we can't exist in the face of them, even though, paradoxically, we do exist within that sphere, if that makes sense. We exist within that sphere, but we don't exist as the self-aware aspect of that sphere or totality. We don't exist as the self-aware aspect of the totality, although we exist in it and can conceptualize about it. So how does one become the self-awareness of totality? Is that even possible? That's the question, and the answer is listening. It's all in how one listens or observes or reads, meaning that if you are listening, like what you are is your background, right? Is your past, your cultural conditioning, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you listen to, for instance, whatever I'm saying, and you're comparing it to what you've learned, to who you think you are and all that, then you're comparing to argue against or to include what I'm saying into who you are, or to validate who you think you are. Maybe some of it rings true to you, and so you go, oh, yeah, this makes sense. This has always made sense. So there's another type of listening, which is not listening from that background, just listening, just choicelessly, no movement in any direction, just understanding what's coming out of the mouth, with no intention to mutate that in any way. And that is the type of listening that one needs to perform when listening to spiels like mine, if you're to get anything out of them. Or if you're to even know if you can get anything out of them, because how do we know? Maybe you can't. Maybe I'm full of crap, but you're not going to know that until you learn how to listen properly. Now, why am I saying all this? Who cares, right? Well, if the only way to be the self-awareness of the totality which is what we humans can do, if the only way to do that is through this deep listening and proper observation, then what happens when we continue down the rabbit hole of attention deficit disorder, staring at your telephone, which you should be talking on, I guess, but now are typing on? We're now a society that does this in movie theaters, which used to be like cathedrals, right? They sort of took the place of religion, these movie theaters, of going to church on Sunday. Well, you go to the movies and you all sit in this dark theater and you watch the flashy tell you a morality tale up on the big screen. And now you can't even do that. Now you've got to have your thumbs on buttons and LOLing to your friends and family and all this at the same time. You're going to have all this distraction upon distraction upon distraction. Or you're bored, right? And so what happens when that's what we become? Then we're irretrievable, right? If that's what you are, how could you even talk to someone like that about listening? Because the last thing we want to do really is listen, right? And especially if we equate that with boredom or with that calming down. We constantly think we have to do something to be entertained, not realizing that when one is in balance, one is never bored, because that boredom arises from imbalance, et cetera, et cetera. So I would submit to you that the apocalypse is nigh, folks, if we don't learn how to listen. And that doesn't mean listen to politicians or listen to other countries through politicians and all that. We're not talking about that kind of listening, listening to each other and understanding each other's feelings and where we're coming from and all that. That's all immature. We're talking about really, how do you listen? How not I've got a solution for you, here's how you listen. I'm saying, we've got to examine how it is that we do, in fact, listen. What does that word mean to us? Is it as important as I'm making it out to be? I believe it is, or I wouldn't be sitting here making the point in the rain. I'd be out playing with sharks. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there because I feel like, we take a look around at global warming and at the impending wars and the NSA encroaching on us and all of this scary stuff that's going on that speaks to the end of civilization as we know it and this sort of thing. And civilization that has any meaning at all is over. It's over the moment one becomes overly distracted. And so, are these other things in the landscape and in the mentality, in the politics of us, in the culture, are they all sort of coming to their own conclusions because we've lost what it means to be alive and to be human? And in fact have lost the torch that points the way. And even as I say that, how many of us are going to go back to video games and texting and, oh my God, I've got to do this and do this and do this, and being pulled in 8 million different directions. That's where we're going, right? So once we go there, I shouldn't say there's no, but it's going to be a heck of a lot harder to figure it out. All right. Ta-ta for now. Ta-ta. Anyway. I guess just in closing, I had announced that I would do a Paratopia Presents Talk Story TV show starting in September. And I'm toying with the idea of not, because I don't know. Does anyone care? So let me know if that interests you. I guess I'm just not into doing anything anymore. I mean, at least not episodically. I mean, once in a while it would be kind of cool, but I don't know that I feel like committing to a weekly show when I just don't think anyone's going to get out of it what I would like to put into it. Let me put it that way. But if you think otherwise or care, let me know, and I will consider. Okay.